in today's video we are going to discuss about Porifera. So we know that Porifera is the first phylum in the animal kingdom. First, before talking about the structure of sponges, let's take the general characteristics of these sponges. So Porifera include sponges. The first general characteristic is that they have pores or porous body. They have porous body. Now what do we mean by porous body? Porous body means they have small little pores on their body, on the sponge's body, and those are called as ostia. The second thing is they are diploplastic. Diploplastic means they have two germ layers. Those are endoderm and ectoderm. So they are diploplastic. They have only two germ layers. Also, they have cell aggregate body plan. Cell aggregate body plan means there is a cluster of cells, but they are not organized into tissues and organs and organ systems. So these are primitive type. They have cell aggregate body plan. This is the primitive type of body plan. And then after cell aggregate we have blind sac body plan and then tube within tube body plan. But poriferans they have cell aggregate kind of body plan. Also they are hermaphrodite. Hermaphrodite. What is the meaning of hermaphrodite? Hermaphrodite means they are bisexual. That means both male and female sex organs are present on the same animal, on the same organism. So they are hermaphrodite. Also they are marine, except one sponge, that is Spongilla. Marine, so all organisms, all species in Porifera, they are marine, but except this sponge called as Spongilla. Spongilla is a freshwater organism, freshwater sponge. This is one thing we need to remember. Now let's come to the structure of the sponge. So here if we have to draw it, so here we have this thing and like this. So this is just a rough sketch of how this sponge looks like, the poriferan body. And here we have mentioned that they have porous body. That means there has to be some pores here. So here we are going to make some small little holes and pores like things and like this. So this is how it looks like, somewhat like this it looks like. So here we can label this thing, these pores, these are called as ostia. So ostia are the small little pores which are present on the body of the sponge, and they help, from these pores the water comes inside. So the water, it helps in transportation of water. So from here the water particles go inside the body of the sponge. So this is ostia. This upper opening, this opening is called as osculum. Osculum is the upper, the large opening which is present on the upper side. That is nothing but osculum. And this hole, this space here, is called as spongocele. Spongocele. This is the main area where all these this is the main area where the internal body of the sponge is present. So this spongocele or body cavity, this is the main body cavity of this sponge. This is where all the organs and all of those structures which are present inside the sponge. So these are the three important structures that we need to remember. Not exactly structures, but the terms that we need to remember. This is ostia. Those are the holes, the pores on the surface of the body. Osculum is a large opening on the upper side. Spongiocele is the body cavity of the sponge. So this is about the three terms which are related to sponge. Now this thing, if you enlarge this part here, we're going to enlarge it and draw it here. So we're going to enlarge just this part here. We're not going to draw the whole body again because we need to understand some important structures which are present in that region. So if you imagine that this is the ostia, this pore is the ostia, and this is these are the arms. So from here water goes through inside the spongiocele. So here we can label this is spongiocele. And on the outer side of this sponge, there are some cells which are present, some flat cells which are present on the outer side of the sponge, and these are called as pinacocytes. And the layer of those flat cells, the layer is called as pinacoderm. So layer is called as pinacoderm. So these are the cells which are present on the outer layer. These are called as pinacocytes, and the layer is known as pinacoderm. And here this is the pore, the ostia, and on the pore, so here there are some cells which are present. Again, like on the outer side, here also there are some cells present, and these cells are known as pore cells. Pore cells. Now here on the inner side of this sporifer, the sponge body, there are some cells which are present called the choanocytes or the collar cells. So for drawing that, we are going to erase this and write it a bit here. So spongiocele. So here we have said that here choanocytes are present. Now let's draw the structure of the choanocyte. So here there is a circular cell, and here there is the collar of the cell and a flagella, and that's why they are called as choanocytes. So choanocytes present in the inner layer of the sponge body. Choanocytes are also known as collar cells because this part is nothing but collar of the cell, and this is the flagella. So flagella, and this is the main cell body. These are some cells which line the inner layer. So here we can draw them. So this is like this. So here we have the choanocytes. So they somewhat look like this. So if we have to label them, these are nothing but choanocytes or collar cells. And this is spongiocele, the body cavity. Choanocytes or collar cells. And inside this sponge, so inside this main body, there is this fluid watery substance which is present, and that is called as mesoglia. Mesoglia consists of water and some collagen fibers. So this is the structure of the sponge. Now one more important thing that we need to remember about these sponges are that they show canal system. This is very important point related to sponges and poriferans. So they show canal system. Now this canal system can be of three types. The first one is Ascon type of canal system, Ascon type. The second one is Sycon type, and the third one is Leucon type, Leucon or Leucon. So Ascon, Sycon and Leucon. Now what happens in Ascon type of canal system? In Ascon type, the collar cells or the choanocytes, these cells with flagella present, these collar cells line the spongiocele. So that's what happened here. So here also we said that this is the body cavity or spongiocele, and choanocytes, they line this spongiocele, they line this body cavity. That's what happens in Ascon type of canal system. In Sycon, the collar cells these collar cells line the radial canals. In this case, radial canals means this pores here, the ostia. In Leucon type of canal system, collar cells, so these choanocytes or collar cells line flagellated chambers. Flagellated chambers. So this is about the canal system in porifera. So Ascon type collar cells line the spongiocele, Sycon type collar cells line the radial canals, and Leucon types, the collar cells or choanocytes line the flagellated chambers. So these are the three types of canal system. These are the three kinds which are present in case of sponges. And very important thing is that poriferans or sponges, they show canal system. They have the presence, they show the presence of canal system. And here we have looked at the structure of the sponge. So here we have ostia, osculum, the large opening at the top, and spongiocele, which is body cavity. Also choanocyte, this is also very important. Choanocytes consist of the main cell body, collar, that's what they're called choanocytes, and flagella. So these choanocytes basically help in transportation of water. So what happens is, with these flagella, so the choanocytes have this flagella, right? The flagella helps in moving, so it helps in the locomotion of that water inside. So that's what happens here. That means they show the canal system. Canal system is mostly associated with the water. So this is about the structure of the sponge and the three types of canal system and some general characteristics of sponges. Now we are going to talk about the endoskeleton in case of sponges. So now we are going to talk about the endoskeleton in sponges. Endoskeleton in sponges is of three types. There can be three types of endoskeleton. The first one, only two types. The first one are spicules, and the second one are spongin fibers. So these are spongin fibers. Spicules can also be classified into two categories on the basis of what substance is there in these spicules, in these in this type of endoskeleton. If there is calcium carbonate, there can be calcium carbonate in the spicules or CaCO3, the chemical formula, or there can be silicic acid in spicules, silicic acid. If they have calcium carbonate spicules, they are called as the spicules are called as calcareous spicules, and if they have silicic acid type of spicules, they are called as siliceous spicules. And spongin fibers means the endoskeleton is made up of spongin proteins. So calcium carbonate can be present, they are called as calcareous spicules. Silicic acid can be present, that's why they are called siliceous spicules. And spongin fibers, when spongin fibers are present, the endoskeleton is made up of spongin fibers. Now based on the endoskeleton, sponges can be classified into 3 classes. If they have calcareous spicules, the class is called as calcarea. So calcarea class is a term given to the sponges which have calcareous spicules. If they have siliceous spicules, the spicules which are made up of silicic acid, they are called as hexactinellida. And if the endoskeleton is made up of spongin proteins, so they have spongin fibers as their endoskeleton, they are called as desmospongia. So calcarea, hexactinellida and desmospongia. These are the 3 classes of sponges. Here in desmospongia we can take example as bath sponge. Now before talking about this thing, let me tell you that the sponge that we use in our bath, the natural sponge, that is actually the skeleton, the endoskeleton of these sponges. So that is bath sponge. This is the sponge that we use in our baths. So that's a natural sponge. Now we are going to take up some importance or some uses of sponges. There is a sponge called Spongia. There is a sponge called Spongia officinalis. So Spongia officinalis is used as, it's actually a very expensive, the costliest bath sponge. It doesn't have any uses, but this is one important thing that we need to remember. So Spongia officinalis, it is a costliest and expensive bath sponge. The bath sponge that we use in our daily baths. Also, one more sponge called Euplectella. Euplectella is also known as Venus flower basket. This Venus flower basket or Euplectella is used as a wedding gift in Japan. So it's usually give as a wedding gift. So it's offered as a wedding gift mostly in Japan. So this is one more thing that we need to remember. Spongia officinalis, it is an expensive bath sponge. Euplectella or Venus flower basket, this is also a very important thing, that this is used as a wedding gift in Japan. So these are some importance of sponges, some important things. And also we have taken a look at the endoskeleton. So calcarea, based on the endoskeleton, sponges can be divided into 3 classes: calcarea, hexactinellida Desmospongia. So we know that organisms are divided into kingdoms. Kingdoms can be classified into phylum. So this is what we're talking about. Porifera is the first phylum in animal kingdom. Now, if the phylum is again classified into something, they are called as classes. That's why we told that there are three classes in sponges: Calcarea, Hexactinellida, and Desmospongia. So this is about the endoskeleton and the classes in sponges or poriferans and some uses of these sponges. And also we have taken a look at the general characteristics of sponges and the canal system, the three types of canal system, the ascon type, the Sycon type, and the Leucon type, and also about the choanocytes and the structure of the sponge. And also the three important terms: ostia, the small pores on the body of the sponge; osculum, the large opening at the top of the body; also spongocoel, which is the main body cavity in poriferans. So this is about some things, some general characteristics about porifera or sponges.